So we're currently at Hanoi Prison. How are we supposed to cross this?
This is the most insane city we've ever walked through. There is a sidewalk, but they're full of scooters and mopeds, so you have to walk on the road and to fight for your life, I don't know. Across the street.
Look at this guy just walking across.
Hi guys, so we are in a little cafe right now and I don't know the name of it, just a random cafe we stopped off on, and so now we're going to try the famous Vietnamese egg coffee. I'm going to quickly read off what that is to you so I get the description correct, but apparently it is made by beating an egg yolk with sweetened condensed milk for 10 minutes and then it makes like an airy, creamy meringue-like fluff, apparently. And then they pour the eggy mixture over hot espresso, or you can get it iced as well. And that's pretty much it. So we're just gonna go for it and try her. Not sure if this is hot. Well, my first sip, I only got the foam on top, not any of the actual espresso. So let's go for it again.
Did you get any coffee yet?
So it's really delicious. It feels like a treat almost because it's just so sweetened and so thick and condensed. Obviously that's why it's called condensed milk, but it's actually quite nice. Do you want to try it, Matt?
Sure.
Let's get Matt's reaction. He's not a big coffee consumer, so we'll see what he thinks. It's a long sip.
It's good. It's a little weird, but it's good. The coffee itself is like black, very bitter, but the foam, the egg foam, is super sweet, and it's pretty good. I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
Guys, should I do an internship here? I haven't even been accepted to law school yet.
Finally found a nice sidewalk though. Yeah. So we're currently at Hanoi Prison. Not 100% sure if that's how you pronounce that. To Americans, you probably know it as the Hanoi Hilton. And it's where American prisoners of war were taken during the Vietnam War. And most famously, John McCain spent about 6 years getting tortured here. It was 30,000 dong to enter, so about $1 each. And it'll certainly be interesting to go see the prison. It'll be interesting to see it from an American perspective, knowing what happened here. I read online that they show that the American prisoners were treated nicely, or like show them playing sports. So we'll see if that's actually the truth or not, because obviously they were tortured on the daily. So yeah, we'll check it out. And I'm not sure if we're allowed to film it here or not, but we'll definitely explain what happened afterwards.
Interesting. You want to show me the picture of it?
Yeah. Cigarettes from the American Red Cross. Huh?
It looks like a prisoners.
American pilots decided that they loved comedy.
So we weren't sure if we wanted to even include any footage of us going to the prison just because we didn't want to be insensitive, but we decided to just show some of it in more of a historical significant kind of way. I know that some of our friends would appreciate seeing that, and I know my dad will appreciate seeing that. We decided to include some footage. We're not going to put any travel cute music over it because we just feel like that's disrespectful. It was a really interesting experience. The exhibition is honestly set up really well to tell the history of the prison. It starts by telling how the prison was founded under French colonial rule. We saw the charter for the creation of the prison. And then it took us throughout the history under French colonial rule and the Vietnamese political prisoners that were held in the prison and tortured and murdered. And then it walked us through the establishment of Vietnam under the communist rule. So we saw the creation of Vietnam under there and the sacrifices that were made by the Vietnamese people to establish this new nation state. And then it got to the time of the Vietnam War when the Americans got involved. So what we read online was true. There's definitely some political propaganda, and we know that any telling of history is never truly unbiased. There's always some sort of angle to any telling of history. but that one was a pretty intense experience for us. It definitely looks like the American prisoners were on more of a vacation in the prison. They were playing sports, making crafts, decorating Christmas trees, having Christmas dinner all together, smiling. One interesting part was that we watched John McCain's interview of his time in this prison, and what was shown in the prison was after his plane was shot down, they said that they saved him, rescued him, gave him medical attention. Yeah, that was an interesting portrayal of the events. All in all, it was pretty informative. It was a pretty interesting experience for sure. Definitely surreal to be in the prison that so much history and so much destruction and violence occurred in. It's also wild that this prison is located in the heart of the city. I mean, we've been to some dark sites like this and they're usually kept outside of the city, far away, but this one's right in the middle of it all, so that's also interesting to me. So we're going to include a little fact sheet as well for those of you who might be interested in the history of this place. If not, you can skip forward a few minutes and we will see you when we go to our next historical spot in Hanoi.
Somehow we're supposed to cross this.
This is quite a drastic change from coming from Laos. It's crazy.
This is the pedestrian crosswalk.
Up there, here.
Yeah, upstairs?
Okay.
Possible?
We'll be up there. So we came down to the famous train street and we were told not to even bother coming down here because it had been shut down. A tourist, I think, died or either lost her arm or something. Yeah, so there were a lot of accidents, so Train Street supposedly closed down. But we came here and the railroad is blockaded and there are policemen down there and they're turning away tourists. But this woman came out of her house and was like, do you want to come into my cafe? And we were like, yeah. So we walked back behind into like some alleyway and walked into our home, and then we were on the train tracks and came up to this cafe and we're on the second floor. So we're on a balcony overlooking the train. And so we're trying to decide if, I mean, obviously Train Street's not closed, so do trains just not come here, like through here anymore? But supposedly there's a train scheduled to come through at 3:20 p.m. It's currently 2. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. So we ordered some lunch and some drinks, but we just kind of can't believe that, like, we can even walk on it. Now that we've been invited through her house, we can like just go right out there and walk on the train street. Probably the only time in history you can get a photo with no tourists on the train track.
Yeah, it's a very confusing experience because they did just shut it down, but then we're here.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see if a train comes through, that'll be pretty wild. But I also read Train Street used to be a lot more wild, so there used to be markets set up literally 20 centimeters from the railroad, and then they would all like pack up shop and head towards the walls when the train comes. But it doesn't look like there's any of those little markets on the street.
No, there's like nothing open anymore.
So it's not as crazy as it used to be, but it's definitely not closed either, so. They're removing the barricades and they're yelling at people to get away. So I understand why they shut down the street markets that used to be down there, because the train literally comes like this close to the buildings, and I understand why people die. That was wild.
And there's already a ton of people are already back on the street. 2 seconds after.
So we've just come back to the room to freshen up for the evening, and while we were gone, our host came into our room and put a new TV in for us.
Giant, like 55-inch TV.
Yeah, I guess they were just renovating their rooms, but we went from that small TV to a large TV. Don't know if we'll use it much, but because the Wi-Fi here is so incredibly slow, but that's okay. Tonight's our last night here, and then tomorrow we have something really, really fun planned that we can't wait to share with you. But tonight we're going to head down to Beer Street and check that out because it's supposed to be a really fun thing to do in Hanoi. Okay, I just have to say that the hospitality is unmatched here. So we just messaged our host and we were complaining that the Wi-Fi was super slow, thinking that he maybe would just reset the router or do something to help us out. And they went out today and they purchased new routers and just installed them, and now we have the fastest Wi-Fi we've had this whole year of travel. Isn't that crazy? So now we can get back to posting vlogs because I know we're a few days behind at this point. So yay, good news.
We're headed to Tahian Corner in the Old Quarter.
Which is?
The Beer Street, I think.